To let you in, you fall, I let you go. I'm giving it up for maybe.
Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be let's talk about the Broken Netflix docuseries. And what it is a 4-episode docuseries that has stuff about makeup, vaping, dressers, and like Ikea specifically, and along with like some of the other bigger furniture sellers. And the last one is about recycling. And they're very, very interesting, and I watched all of them and I took notes, and we're just gonna have a discussion. And I'm gonna tell you about things that happened. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts. Please feel free to comment down below your thoughts and feelings, because I really am interested in having this be a discussion and not just a me talking. I was planning on having this be a get ready with me, or at least I was going to do my makeup while I talk to make it a little bit more interesting. However, I got a facial today, and so I'm not really supposed to put makeup on anywhere where I had the facial done, which means I can essentially do my eyes. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an eye look throughout this video. However, I'm gonna try to like do it slowly throughout, so like it doesn't just get done and then it's just me talking at the camera, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I get to play around with these new Eco Tool brushes that I just got. So I'm really excited because I needed a liner style brush. I'll show you when I get it out of the package. So yeah, let's get into it. The way we're gonna do this is I'm gonna break it down into each episode. It's gonna be a separate section. Okay, so let's start. So the first section is going to be the makeup section. This one will be the shortest one that I review and talk about, because it will mostly be my thoughts, because Hannah Smoky Glow has already done a video where she broke down it section by section, and Addie Williamson has also done an amazing video on it where she talked about her thoughts on that episode. And while I want to address my thoughts on this episode, I don't think I can break it down any better than Hannah did it, so both of their videos will be linked down below. But other than that, let's just get into my thoughts. So first of all, I did not realize the market for dupe makeup, I guess, was as large as it was, because that was really what that episode was about. It was about fake makeup, counterfeits, and I knew like dupes were a thing. I knew like ColourPop making something that looked like something else that had come out, or smaller brands making things that look like Natasha Denona products. It has been a thing, and that's kind of what I thought the entirety of counterfeit makeup was like dupes. But it turns out that it is a lot more lucrative than I thought, in the way that it is actually being done, where like Chinese companies are making fake versions of the product and then selling them in the States or selling them online, and then they're being shipped into the States and being given to people. It was very surprising. It was very unnerving. Just when you think of how many like young people who don't have very much money but want to buy the products that YouTubers talk about, they're the ones who would most likely be sucked in. And when you just think about how little people actually do research into what they're consuming, it's just like kind of scary. So yeah, that was definitely something I was unprepared for. But one thing they did, which I thought was really, really interesting, is they wanted to talk about like indie brands, because they talked about how like consumers are really going into working with indie brands, and so they interviewed ColourPop. They also interviewed Marlena from Makeup Geek, but I haven't like heard very much about Makeup Geek, versus I've heard like I feel like a good amount about ColourPop, and I do think it's really, really interesting. was like learning about them, because I really do think that I had a much negative impression before watching that, because I knew that ColourPop was like an in-house company, like I knew that everything they made was in-house, but I didn't really know that like part of what made them in-house, like I knew that them being in-house made them like cheaper, but I didn't realize that it also meant that they were managing the amount of stuff they made, that they were managing the amount of waste they created. I didn't realize that they were like that they basically say, okay, what's selling? Okay, let's stop making the stuff that doesn't sell. Because that in itself is incredibly interesting. Like, ColourPop releases too much. They release too much, and especially at the end of 2019, I really was okay with ColourPop releasing these like 9-pan palettes, but then they got like Morphe sized, and I was kind of like, why? But like, it definitely made me more likely to support them, seeing how they are as a company, and just I'm trying to think of the right words to like say it. Like, I just think that as a company, they like really do share some things that I really do believe in, and so I feel like I hadn't really given them a chance because I'd only seen them through their releases. So I thought that was just really interesting, going behind the scenes, seeing companies, and I wonder how I would feel about like other companies if I did similar things. And if I like looked into companies more than I do now, in terms of like, yes, I look at their ethics, but do I look at like the human aspect behind them? But at the same time, always dangerous to make companies into people. My other thought, my like main thought on this, is that I agree with the conclusion. And this is something that you'll see as a repeating theme, which is that I agree with the conclusion that the only way to stop it is by being a conscious consumer. Like, yes, regulations have been made, and like patrolling is being done to make sure that like the things don't get into the country, and also they get caught when they are selling them in the country. But really, it's about thinking about where the product came from. Does the product look right? Does the product like seem like it's coming from a verified source? Amazon is not a verified source, because they have second party sellers, and that's like not, and they don't always disclose if it's a second party seller or not, and that's not okay. Like, that's one of the issues I have with Amazon. And I really do feel like that is happening in our market, as people are wanting more cruelty free, more like affordable makeup that doesn't have like toxins in it and stuff. But that needs to come also from the people who are trying to not experience FOMO and don't buy stuff just because it stopped being released or because it's very expensive. So yeah, that's really like my main thoughts on the makeup part. I definitely suggest watching Abby and Hannah's videos because they just explain so much. Okay, let's move on to the second part. So the second episode was called Big Vape, and it was about big tobacco and vaping as an industry. And as a college student, like, I know that there are a lot of high schoolers that do vape. I personally was not in a class with people who do it a ton.